Hello and welcome along to Mondo Chelloveck Movies. My name is John, and this video is going to be what I've picked up from CEX and HMV in the past couple of days. Now, funny enough, I haven't been there yet, although I've been to North Shield CEX this morning and I picked up one item. But what I wanted to do was, first of all, I wanted to unbox this. This has just come through the door. Now, this has got a bit of sellotape on, so will I get a deep joy or a deep folly? Looks like a deep folly to me. Deep joy. So what I did was I was looking at these items on Amazon and they were coming in at quite decent price. So I thought, hang on a minute, I'll just go to the indicator store and see what I get from there. And for this, I would have got these three for, I paid about £30 for them on Amazon. But when getting these from the indicator shop, I got these for £20 for three. So that's a good saving. So I'll get these open and I'll tell you what they are. So first up in the 3 for £30 sale from Indicator, I got the Gorgon. Now this is a Hammer movie. And to be honest, this one's not been that easy to get in the UK. It's one of those ones that was released in a box set here, and they're all getting released separately now, which is great. And what I'll do at the end of this video, I'll tell you what I think of the quality of this, because I've seen this before. I'm trying to think where I saw it. I might have saw it on DVD, and it was okay. It wasn't too bad, but I don't know whether it's on Blu Ray. So it was one of the ones. It's one of the classic Hammer horror stories that I had to get. A lovely cover, that. So, like I say, I will check this out and I'll come back at the end of the video and tell you what I think of the quality on this one. Because if a Hammer video is done well on Blu-ray, it will look exceptional. Now, though Indicator do excellent stuff, excellent transfers, so I'm hopefully expecting this one to look very nice, because it's all about the colours with Hammer. Next up, I got The Curse of the Mummy's Tomb. Now, this is another one, another classic Hammer film. Now this is from 1964, and this is from 1964 as well. What they used to do was they used to sort of make these movies back to back, and they probably used to stick it together and put them out as a double bill. They were really hammering it, get it? Back in the day. So, and you do get special features on both discs. So there's the special features on there. There's the special features on there. So these ones, I mean, they're not scary. Don't get us wrong. They just look really good. And very interested to get this one. And lastly, in the 3 for £30 sale from Indicator, I got The Revenge of Frankenstein. Now, this is I'm going to say this is the second or third movie in the Frankenstein franchise from Hammer. This is 1958, so I do think this is the second one actually. Now, the different thing about the Hammer Frankenstein series is the fact that all the monsters are different. Now, in the Universal one, you had the Frankenstein's monster, and he was in from the full movies. Now, in every one, you sort of get the monster, and the monster meets his end, and then you get a new monster, a new slant on it. Now, this one here is a really good slant on it. The fact is that he does is, bringing people back to life in whatever format he does. I think this is one in sort of like a water bath, if I remember correctly. And when he comes out, he's perfect, but it doesn't last long. So that's a really good slant on it. Now, funny enough, these two here, on a side note, I do actually own them already, but I own them on this version here, which was gifted to me by my good friend John Hall. Now, John said that this is from Mill Creek Entertainment, and he also said that it's region A locked. And he said that the quality on here is not the best quality. It's a bit of I think it's like DNR'd and something like that. It's got some kind of problematic area about it, which means that it's not the best it could look. But I was glad to get them on Blu-ray, because at that time they weren't available on Blu-ray in this country. But of course they are now. So I knew I had to pick these two up. And I think this is a great deal, 3 for £20. And I'll be interested to see what I pick up in the town tomorrow. So see you soon. Okay, so just got back from Newcastle, and before I show you what I picked up today from CEX and HMV, I just wanted to say rest in peace to Darren Henley, otherwise known as D.H. Peligro, the drummer from the Dead Kennedys. So just found out late last night that he actually died from an accidental fall in his house, and I was absolutely devastated, because I have seen the Dead Kennedys. We saw them in 2017, and they were brilliant. One of my favourite bands from my youth. And the thing is about Peligro's drumming is that he's one of the best hardcore drummers there was ever out there. This is the first album he played on. This is the second Dead Kennedys album. I think the original drummer was replaced by him on this album. And this album, we'll actually listen to it today. Me and the Debs love the Dead Kennedys. and we were so pleased to see them. So it was such a shame to hear this, and he only died at 63 as well. He was a fit guy, and he had a lot of time left, and they've just been playing very recently. I think they were actually on tour. So it's just devastating news actually to the whole punk rock community that this classic drummer, who's drummed for the Red Hot Chili Peppers as well, has unfortunately passed away. And to me, as a drummer myself, I'd always aspired to be like somewhere like Darren Pellegro, and I knew there was no way I was going to touch his level. But it was one of the things that you thought, if he can do it, I can try to do it, and you always fail miserably. But the things he used to do was stuff that most punk rockers could never do, and he will be a huge loss to the band as well as every lover of good punk music. So that's rest in peace, D.H. Pellegro. Also, just touching on very quickly, I checked out this disc here and I compared them to the recent Powerhouse ones I picked up from Indicator, and I've got to say that this one here, I knew it was a bit of a lower quality one. It is a lower quality one. It looks like a good DVD, if I'm honest, although the colours in here are quite good. Now when I put these two on, I've got to say it's a massive upgrade to that one there, which I knew it was. Also, these have got lots of extras on there, which that disc doesn't have. I did think though, slightly there was a bit of a look to say that it looked a bit, not DNR'd, but it's got that kind of smoothness about it, which was kind of not really off-putting, because these are really early examples of colour movies. But I found there was a slight look to it, as if it had been slightly DNR'd. I don't think it has. I don't think Indicator do that. But it looked a little bit like that. But it's a huge upgrade from them. And also the Gorgon as well. The Gorgon probably looked the best out of the lot. But you've got that huge hammer colour on these ones, and these ones were about as sharp and as nice as I've ever seen them. I think Revenge of Frankenstein as well was quite, surprisingly sharp in places, but don't forget that there's limitations on what they could show in these movies. But highly recommended actually, and if you can still get them in this sale, I do urge you to get them. So first up, for 50p from CEX, I picked up Safe House. Now this is a movie with Ryan Reynolds in, also Denzel Washington. So this movie I would reckon would be a really good watch on that premise. I don't know anything about the movie, but for 50p, it's one of those ones where you just think, look, it is what it is. We will get round to watching it one day, because the Debs likes this type of movie. We'll check it out and see what it's like. This isn't coming off, so I'll have to get the old lighter fuel out and that. But apart from that, really looking forward to it actually. So that's Safe House. So next up for £1.50, I got Taken. And this movie needs no introduction actually, and because I got that, I had to get for £1.50 as well Taken 3. I've already got Taken 2, and that completes my Taken trilogy. Now I've got these, they are in the house actually on DVD, but I'm happy to upgrade these on Blu Ray, and actually look quite good as well. So I haven't watched these at all actually, but the devs have seen them. So I'm interested to see these on Blu Ray, and I'll be watching them, I'll be watching them as soon as I can. So that's Taken and Taken 3. So next up from HMV, I got Blood from the Mummy's Tomb. Now I've been after this movie for quite a while. It's one of those ones that I've never seemed to get with a slipcover, and I was happy to pick it up when I saw it there. And for me, this completes the franchise of the Mummy Hammer movies. So I've got them all now. There's 4 of them, and I'll tell you what they are. The first Hammer Mummy film is The Mummy. The second one is Curse of the Mummy's Tomb. Third one is The Mummy's Shroud. And the fourth one is Blood from the Mummy's Tomb. Now I don't think I've ever watched these as in like a franchise themselves. I think when we go back to them, we will watch these like in a sort of franchise form. We'll go through the whole 4. I don't know if they tie into each other. I've got a feeling they might tie into each other, but I've never really saw these. I can't remember seeing these as the 4 movies. So I've got no knowledge that they can tie into each other. Like mostly the Dracula and Frankenstein ones do to a certain extent. But I'm unsure whether or not this does, or that more or less 4 standalone movies. Be interested to find it out actually. But when I put this on, as Studio Canal do with all the Hammer stuff, this movie looks exceptional. At the forefront of this is obviously the Hammer colour, because you can make these really colourful movies, and I'm a huge fan of Hammer movies, and I can watch them, time and time again. And I love how these look on the shelves with these slipcovers. I've got like a lot of them up there, which they're all sort of like line up and that. So this movie's from 1971, and it was, like I say, it was the last Mummy movie that it did. So very interested to see it. I must have seen this back in the day, although I've got no recollection of it whatsoever. I think there's only another one that I need to complete all of the Studio Canal releases that they've done in this format. They said they were going to release some more, but they never did. But I'm hoping they're going to do that. So that's Blood from the Mummy's Tomb. So next I went to the 2 for £24 sale in the 4K section. And I knew there was a movie that was after. And it's all them ones. It's never in the 2 for 24. And as soon as I saw it was, I went and pounced on it immediately. But the one I had to get to go with that, I got The Kingsman. Now I've got the second one on 4K, which looks stupendous, and I've got the first one on Blu Ray. And I've got to say the picture quality on here was absolutely stunning. The sharpness on it was one of the ones where you thought, I've never seen anything look so sharp. I knew this would look good, but I didn't realize how good this one would look. This is highly, highly recommended if you want something to show off your setup. It's just one of those ones where it's just crystal clear. It's so sharp, it's unreal, and obviously the colours as well. Set during World War One, so there you go, about 1914. It actually does have Franz Ferdinand in it, so I should have got that by that. Not the band, I hasten to add. So yes, so I got that. Very pleased to get that one. I didn't even think this was going to be the 2 for £24 sale. I was kind of like racking my brains for another movie to go with the one I picked up. But I opted with this one. I'm so glad I did because, like I say, the picture quality, the sound quality, it's got to have Dolby Atmos. Yeah, Dolby Atmos. Very highly recommended if you want a really good looking 4K. That's The Kingsman. But the movie I initially went for in the 2 for £24 sale, the one I've been after for a long time, is Die Hard. Now, you might say, look, it's Die Hard, it hasn't got a slip. And you're right, it hasn't got a slip. There's only one left in the 2 for £24 sale, although I did know there was another one here when it was like full price with a slip on. But this one here doesn't have a slip. But thanks to my good friend Gary Watson, who sent me a slip a while ago actually, I can just do this with it. Now, it was one of those ones where, it's funny enough, I thought when I see it, I hope I don't have a slip in it, so I can use Gary's slip up. And here we are. So this has been a good find actually. I know when I picked it up, Deborah goes, it hasn't got a slip, because she's a massive fan of Die Hard, massive fan of Bruce Willis actually. So I said, fear not, Gary's come to the rescue. So I want to thank Gary Watson once again. I really do appreciate you sending me this stuff. And every now when I'm out and about, I do find these movies, and I know that I can just buy them and not have to say, oh, I've got to leave that there because it hasn't got a slip on. So I had to put this on because now I thought myself, I've heard, a few things about this movie. Is it really good in 4K? So when I put it on, when the credits are on, the movie does look quite low in quality, but that's because of the way it's shot with credits on over the top of them. So when this movie comes in, the credits leave the movie, this movie looks sensational. It's definitely by far the best this has ever looked. And I'm really pleased, like Deborah, me and Deborah are going to watch this at Christmas time because it is a Christmas movie. And we just, I'm so glad to get this movie. We haven't got the other ones on Blu Ray, but for me, this is by far the best one. Die Hard 2 is pretty, I mean, they're all right to a certain extent, but they do tail off a little bit towards the end. And yeah, so very, very pleased to get this one. And thanks once again to Gary Watson for helping me out with the slip. That's Die Hard. So lastly, from HMV on 4K is a movie that as soon as I heard it was coming out, I thought, I've got to get that. So the first chance I get it, when I get to the shops, I will pick it up. So I picked up on 4K, Raw Deal. The system gave him a raw deal. Nobody gives him a raw deal. As Studio Canal always does when they do an Arnie movie, or any movie actually, they do an exceptional print. Now this here is no exception. It's pin sharp, and also the colours in it, actually it looks like it's maybe a bit like an autumnal movie, because the colours in here are, I wouldn't say they're muted, but it's got that bit of a cold look to it. I think just the film does. But that's not taking anything away from it. The quality of it is just pin sharp, like I say, and also the detail is just unreal. And the colours are great when they're there, but they're not sort of like the red, that you don't see much of that. But I think it's just the way that the colour palette was. But this is just, and the funny thing is about Raw Deal, I remember seeing it quite a few times back in the day, and I have zero knowledge of what it's all about. So, but I don't mind, because I just know that when Arnie made these films in the 80s, there's something that I just like watching. So this movie might be very cheesy, it might be very 80s, but to be honest, that's what I like about them. And funny enough, the only thing that sort of tells you it's like an 80s movie is because of the way that they dress. Everything else in it could be, shot yesterday because it's that nice. So we're very interested to see this, and I'm sure that the devs would check this out, because I think she's a big fan of Arnie as well, especially this 80s Arnie, when I think he released some of his best movies. Really hope they do Commando, because I think that would look exceptional in 4K as well. So That's Red Dawn. Highly recommended if you like this type of movie, and highly recommended for the picture quality. It's got like I say, an exceptional picture quality. Really surprised it didn't get more of a big box set with it, but it is what it is. Okay, so thanks for watching. You take care, and I will see you on the next video. Cheers.